So also, you also did missions too, right? Am I correct?
I was blessed to get involved with some missions down in the Yucatan in the early 90s. And we made, I think it was 6 trips down to a town called Chaxinquin, which is a true Mayan town, about 1,000 people there, and they all wear the huipiles, the old-fashioned white outfits with a specific color for their family or their clan. And they lived in stick huts with a hole in the middle that they cooked on a rock, and they made their tortillas, and they'd grind their corn every day. You know, pretty primitive area of the lower Yucatan, and we worked with a priest and some other people that were a mission team down there, and we the first year went 2 weeks, and then after that we'd go about a week to 8 or 9 days every year and do medical work in about 12 different locations, and treated as many sick people as we could, and we helped them set up a pharmacy and a dental clinic. After those 6 trips, after about 8 years, they actually had medical access. They had doctors and nurses coming in through the country of Mexico, and we weren't really needed anymore. And then I did another 6 trips right over the border from McAllen, Texas. I was in a Rotary Club in Lafayette, and a Methodist minister in our club organized this particular mission group, and we did a similar type medical work in a clinic in a town called Rio Bravo, poor area of a big city, Rio Bravo. Pretty rough area, and we did 6 trips there. They weren't quite as long. They were more like 3 to 4 day, but we'd see maybe 100 plus patients each day. So we got a chance to touch a lot of lives, and it was all the trips were inspirational. Got to share with our children and with a lot of pre-med and med students and nurses and friends, and worked together with a lot of wonderful people. And my wife got to share a lot of them.
Oh yeah. So is there something you can share with the viewers to let them know that mission trips are needed? And you hear about it, but to actually go out and see and touch.
I think maybe one of the lessons mission trips, bless everyone that gets to go on them, is you get back to the basics. In America, we're so material focused. We're watching TV so much, and we get carried away with materialism. We forget about just the simple values of families that love each other and cherish simple things. And when you do a mission trip, you see the poorest of the poor, and so you get back to the roots, and to feel like you can maybe do something at least on that day to help that person or that family. It makes you feel good, and it also humbles you because you realize you have so much more than you need, and maybe sometimes all that excess is not really that good, that it takes you away from the core things that are the most important, family and love and meaningful work.
Wow. And I'm happy to hear that you had a chance to experience a couple of those mission trips, because I'm planning on one myself, as I mentioned to you earlier, to India. So it's just just to say that it always feels good to give back.
Absolutely. Oh, it's such a blessing. I don't know if you familiar with Dr. Bertrand, Charles Bertrand. He's a elderly pediatrician here in Opelousas. Well, he's the king of the mission trips. He's done over 100, and he has been in some pretty remote areas, including India, Brazil, Mexico, all over, and some real Haiti, very dangerous places. Yeah, you should interview him. He can tell you some stories that'll just blow you away. But the guy has so much faith. He even worked with Mother Teresa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was an inspiration to me. Knowing his history, when I got the chance to get involved with missions, it was easy to try to follow in a very small way what he's done for the last 35 years.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome to hear, because I understand Mother Teresa did a lot of work in India just as well, and I was surprised. I mean, I didn't know just how great
she told him to start this mission in Haiti, which is real dangerous, and he did. He said, when Mother Teresa tells you to start something, you start it. But they got, in one night, people coming at them with guns. They had to leave where they were in the middle of the night, and they looked at the back of the Suburban. They had gotten out of there real fast, and it was all shut up with bullets, that barely got out with their lives, but yet they still went back and kept working.
That was in Haiti.
In Haiti.
Yeah. Well, it just also just to let the viewers know that you are pretty much safe when you do missions, so they can understand that it's okay to still go out there.
Right, especially if they're organized and the people you're working with are from that area. But some missions can be dangerous.
Yes.
We experienced some dangers in our Mexico missions, and we had to stand on faith and hold together as a group. But really, you know, first they thought we were rich drug dealers, and then they realized we were just a bunch of volunteer gringos with a lot of samples of medicines, and they left us alone.
Okay. Well, with that note, viewers, we'll be right back with Dr. Prather. Stay tuned. Well, we're just going to continue on with Dr. Prather and hear something else interesting that he has to say. So, Dr. Prather, tell us a little bit about some of the patients in your clinic.
Well, I was telling you that the patients that have probably inspired me the most in my career are the sickest ones, and some of them who have even died. And you would think that's so sad, but you know, that's part of your job as a physician too, is to be with a family and help them if a child has a dread disease. One child in particular that really comes to mind is a little girl named Penny Poussin. I have permission from her family to mention her name.
Okay.
She came to me in the first year, and she looked like a little angel. She might have weighed 12 pounds. She was about a year and a half old and was just like a dish rag, no muscle tone. And it was obvious to me that she had some serious genetic disease. I didn't really know what she had, but long story short, we figured out that she had Tay-Sachs disease, which is a crippling disease where your brain stops growing, and usually you die in infancy. But fast forward 10 years, she lived 10 years. And the reason she lived 10 years was because her mom and dad were so extraordinary, and her big sister, and they loved her so much. And they just refused to let her die, and they took such good care of her. But she was in and out of the hospital probably close to 50 times. And that's one reason I learned so much from her. She went through every diagnosis in the book and every drug allergy and every complication. And I was really working off the seat of my pants. But the family, I guess, trusted me enough to take care of her. There were a few times when I transferred her down to New Orleans when I knew I was way over my head. Her family's faith and strength is really what inspired me, particularly her mother, Nancy, in all the times driving from Iota, Louisiana to Opelousas, just about once a week in those 10 years. I never once heard her complain. I knew she was sleep deprived the whole time, and we've stayed friends and actually celebrated the memory of her life on many occasions since she passed away over 10 years ago. A patient like that, you say, why do they live? You know, I believe God maybe used her to teach me and to inspire other people in the medical field that had the privilege of taking care of her. You never know. My oldest sister, Mellie, was similar, although not retarded. She had many, many medical diseases and was expected to die in childhood, and she lived into her 50s and beat, you know, the odds over and over and over. And again, a lot of people would have said, well, just abort her. She's not worth bringing into this world with all her many problems: double cleft lip, bicornuate uterus, fistula, 3 or 4 different types of fistulas, on and on and on. But yet, ectodermal dysplasia, which led her to become blind in her adult life. Despite that, if you talk to anybody that knew my sister Mellie, they would say she's one of the most inspirational people I ever met, one of the best listeners and dearest friends I ever had. I mean, she inspired everybody that knew her, and definitely inspired my father and myself as physicians, and gave us maybe empathy for other very, very sick patients that we needed to be the doctors that God wanted us to be. So there's a reason for everything. It's all part of a plan, and every patient can teach you that. So that would be my message to other physicians maybe just getting into the field. Keep an open heart and open mind, pray every day, and God will give you the wisdom, the strength, and the grace to be a good physician. Amen,
amen. Well, that right there is just breathtaking just to hear that. And you're right. Sometimes people are, well, most of the times people are put in positions, and through those situations they help bring something to someone else, and they might not even know that they're doing that, but they are. And that's just part of the inspiration that God has. Well, everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in and listening to Dr. Prather. He definitely has been a blessing to all of us, and will continue to do so. And if you have a chance and you're looking for a good doctor to do, not to put down any other doctor, by all means, they're doing their own practice as well. But from my opinion, because my kids has also gone through Dr. Prather's clinic, and not that he needs a commercial about it, because he's blessed as well with the staff and the patients he have, but I would recommend his clinic to you. Thank you for watching Testimony today, and see you back again Sunday after next. Be blessed and have a good day.